already got comments. What's going on, you guys? Hey, Douglas, you're ready. I like it. Hey, Becky, she's here. Finally caught a live one. Right on. How's it going, you guys? I'm not sure of the best way to do this where you can see what I'm working on, but also see my beautiful face. Thin Leather Design, how's it going? Happy Friday, you guys. No, oh my gosh. This just shows you how messed up my weeks are. Happy Monday. I'm way off. Oh man. Seriously though, my days are all mixed up because every day feels the same. I come out here and do my thing. I was even out here Saturday just plugging away. I did a little bit Sunday, so it's all the same to me. Friday, Monday, whatever. Brian Nash, what's up, man? All right, I'm gonna try and go for a little bit of a different angle here. Hey, Kurt, how's it going? Greg, welcome. Good to see you guys. Parker, who's the president? Of the United States? Hi, Kim. How are you doing? All right, what's going on, you guys? Okay, today I wanted to, I'm just gonna be plugging away on this stuff. I've got a lot to do, but I just wanted to touch base on a topic that I've thought about many times. Kurt says, yay, Kim. We all love Kim. She's the one that keeps us on our toes, keeps us on task. So I wanted to talk about doing made to order versus small batch production. What are your thoughts on it? For the first, I don't know, like maybe 3 years, maybe even more than that, maybe like well into the almost 4 years, I think, that we were doing made to order. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of pros and cons to both sides. Just to list a few of them, when you're doing let's talk about what they are. So when I'm saying small batch, that could be anything. I mean, if you're talking in bag terms, that could be 3 bags, or it could be 50, or in wallet sense, anything more than 3 or 4, I consider a batch, just because you're able to kind of hit things in steps as opposed to just going through the motion with just one, going through each step one by one for one product. Hammer on the floor lying around. Yeah, let me grab that. I've been meaning to grab that because I've seen it there a couple times. That would be thank you to our new shop assistant, Wesley. That's my son, by the way. He's 18 months old, and he just finds stuff and just runs around. Every time he comes here, he makes a complete mess, and I love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. All right. What was I talking about? Okay, so in a small batch world, you're going to take all the usual steps that you're used to doing in the production of a product, but you're repeating it multiple times through each step. And there's a lot of benefits to that, especially if you're working on a machine. You don't want to have to go through the process of changing your thread out over and every single time you make a different product. So sometimes it just makes a lot of sense to make, if you're going to be making one Buck Brown wallet for a customer, you might as well make 3 or 4 and, use the time you have with that brown thread in the machine or whatever thread you use for that color and, really crank out some stuff. All right, my mind's a little bit helter-skelter here, but the point I'm trying to make is there's pros and cons to both. So let's talk about them. The pros to a small batch model would be, one, you get to save a lot of time, I think. Of course, it's going to take you more time to get through the whole batch, but each step, overall, it's going to take less time per wallet than if you were to just make one wallet. And then there's the benefit of, being more productive every time you change the thread in your machine. You're able to get a lot more done than just switching the thread out all the time. The other big benefit in a business from a business standpoint is being able to ship your products much faster. So having product in stock ready to go is always a benefit because you can have it shipped out the door within 24 to 48 hours. If you're in a made to order model, you have to kind of deal with that issue. There's going to be a lot of times where you can get backed up quite a bit, and that's tough. You know, if you're every time you get an order, I remember having the feeling during our made to order phase where you'd get an order and you'd almost stress out. It's like, okay, cool, I'm glad we got an order, but all that means is more time in the shop for me, especially as it started to stack up and get really busy. If you made everything ahead of time in batches, then you get an order and you're like, great, go out, grab the product, drop it in the mail, you're good to go. It's not as stressful. The customer's happier because it was a quicker turnaround. So there are, so that's kind of the difference there. But there are benefits to made to order as well. For instance, if it's a product that hasn't really been tested, you don't know if it's something people are gonna like, you don't wanna go off and make 10, 15, 25, or even like 50 of that piece, unknowing if it's going to sell, right? So if it's something that you know is going to sell really well, then great. I think a batch order is always a good option. But I would say that is the one benefit to made to order is you get to kind of lower the risk as you're finding out what products sell well. So that's kind of the balance we've taken with a lot of it. We've had some products that just fly off the shelves, like our number 52, especially in Buck Brown. We move a lot of those, so it makes a lot more sense to make them in batches of 100 or more at a time. So anyway, that's just kind of an idea of how we handle that situation. But there are some products that are just completely new. I mean, Whit and I were both talking about doing a women's bag that we've been wanting to try here for a little bit, and I was like, at first I was like, no, that's too risky. I don't want to put all the time and effort into creating the samples and getting the dyes made and sending it over to Waterbury and all that kind of stuff. Then I'm like, we don't need to go through that whole process until we know it's something that sells well. Why not just play around a little bit with some different patterns, throw it on the website, see what the reaction is, and if it's something that has really good feedback and lots of demand for, then we can start putting into, we can transition it into more of the batch production where we buy dyes, buy a big batch of leather and just get a whole bunch of them made all at once, run some kind of campaign with our newsletter and our social media and just move a bunch of them at a time. I honestly believe that that's the way to do it more often than not. You should be putting more time into your products anyway. You should be putting lots of thought and really letting the market drive your decisions as far as what you're making and what you're selling. So I always feel like it's better to take that launch method, build some hype, build a bigger batch of your products, and then move it all at once. Your customers are going to be happier. You're going to be able to stay more sane. But again, there are some benefits to doing the made to order model. What are your guys' thoughts on it? I'm sure a lot of you are doing made to order right now. You guys, I'm sorry, I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of the mobile app on YouTube when doing live streams because the chat just disappears. So as far as I was concerned, nobody was saying anything for the last, that whole time I was talking. And now I just lift it up. It looks like there's a bunch of comments. So I apologize. Okay, Becky says custom orders are a nightmare. And from taking up the time, I love batching but can't complain. Custom brings in money. Paul says, what's going on, man? Hi, Paul. Glad you're here. Newsletter, question mark? Yeah, I'm just talking about like my email list. I get a bunch of people that sign up to our email list from our website, and then every now and then I send an email out when we're launching new products or things like that. Becky says, ladies spend more. Probably true. What's up, Parker? I agree with you, everything you're saying. For me, staying open to both is nice because it keeps things mixed up and so it never gets monotonous. Yeah, I agree with that, Kai. I totally agree with that. We're kind of in the same boat. Where's the best place to buy handcraft tools? Oh, there's so many. But I would say if you're just getting started, the best place for you to go would be Tandy. Tandy's just so awesome. The tools are pretty affordable. you know, it's just good stuff. It's good stuff. Love Tandy. Okay, what was I gonna do? I had a, well, anyway, I had a thought I was gonna share, and I'm just gonna let that ride out. It might come back. I wanted to admit, so a lot of you were kind of giving me some tips on my last one about how to get better Wi-Fi signal. Push this in, I'm not loving it. Yeah, it's funny because our Wi-Fi journey has been kind of a long, arduous one. I had a lot of issues right when we built the place, and I was really frustrated at first because we just couldn't get any signal out here no matter what we did. I tried, I had like a whole network of boosters and running cable out here. It just, everything was giving us pretty poor results. So anyway, I ended up calling Comcast. They brought us a really high quality, super fast router and installed it, and we've been getting just crazy high speeds ever since. The issue is if I'm on this side of the workbench, we get really strong signal, and then when I'm over there, it's just weak enough that live streams don't do really well. So I haven't really noticed any issues until I started doing more live streams right here on the workbench. So I had a bunch of you that were like, man, it's not your speeds, it's the reach, you gotta get a booster, blah, blah, blah. And so I had kind of given up on boosters at that point because I couldn't get it to work. But that was when we had the weaker router. So anyway, we got a killer router. It's in a great spot. I finally just put a booster in this morning that's right here by our window. And now we're getting really fast speeds. We get up to like 80 megabytes per second everywhere on this workbench. So we should be good to go. Haven't seen any buffering yet. Glad to see that. That's going to save Kim some time for sure. Kim was always my go-to. She'd let me know if it was buffering, and then when we were back, she's like, you're good, you're good. No, it's gone, you're good. And it was such a huge pain. It made for really stressful videos to watch for other people. Man, you like tune in and someone's just skipping out every 2 seconds. That's not fun to watch. So I apologize for those last like 2 or 3 live streams. We should be good now. I think we're good. Haven't had any issues. However, I was running the live stream from my laptop over here so that I could see the comments better, but I think that just strains it too much. That's just way too much streaming going on in one room. So I'm gonna not do that right now. I just gotta rely on my phone, which is a pain because they go away. Wow, there are 67 wonderful people here. Please hit the like button. Thanks so much, Kim. Gosh, dang it, she's awesome. I'm Real Small Custom is bread and butter at the moment. Where's your best place to buy handcraft tool? Okay, we talked about that. Okay, you guys, I wanted to, I just remembered what I was gonna mention earlier. I've done a live stream before where we talked about custom work versus batch order. This is more of, this is not really including custom work. Custom's kind of a different beast. That's where someone comes to you and tells you what they want, and you create something completely based off what somebody else wants. So let's kind of like put that aside. We've already discussed that at great length and kind of come to our conclusion on that. But what I wanted to talk about was the difference between batch order and made to order, even with just your set line of products. So I will always tell you that having a set line of goods on your website that people know what they're getting, they know what to expect, is going to be better than custom work. That's just kind of like ground level. Always been the case for us. Every time we've tested that, it's just a much cleaner and smoother process because with custom, you might not be capable of creating what they want, and you're going to be hours into a project, and things might not turn out how they expect, and it's a lot of risk, it's a lot of frustration. And I just figured, if I could create a product that I like personally, designed by me, and put it up on the website for people to purchase, they know exactly what they're getting, they see the picture, they say, that's what I want, it's going to arrive on their doorstep. That is always going to be a better model for any maker, I believe. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying custom work can't be done, because I know a lot of people do it well. But just for me, I believe that's the best way to go. but now that but even just within that model, just within that like set line of products on your website, you can decide whether or not to, wait for an order to come in and then make the product, or make an entire batch of products, like kind of like this. Right now I'm doing a batch of like 35 or so not huge. This is pretty small compared to what we're used to, but I'm trying to get more of a range, more of a variety done, as opposed to big numbers just of one product or one color right now, as for now. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. When we work with Waterbury, we're usually doing a couple hundred wallets at a time, and that's just a lifesaver, because for me to do a couple hundred at a time is a big deal. But here I'm able to manage 20 to 50 wallets pretty easily. All right, I'm missing some comments here. Yeah. Those baseline products also can help people get an idea of what kind of custom work will be like. Yeah, if you're still interested in doing custom, you can put your own products up and say, this is what I'm capable of doing, and then maybe tweak it from there. It's always a good way to go. What or how many do you consider a small batch? Oh, you just said around 35. Well, and I said this at the beginning of the live stream. I believe a batch could be 3 of something, especially when you're talking about like bags. A batch could be 3, but even making 3 instead of 1 is going to save you time in the end. Like let's say you were going to make 3 bags that month anyway. I would say it's gonna be better to do it all at the same time than spread out, just because in between those times you might have to switch the thread around on your machine to make other products for other orders. You're gonna have to get the leather out each time. It's always gonna be faster, I think, to just pull everything out you need for that one product, make as many as you have the resources for and the time, as many as you like, and then move on to the next batch of whatever you're making. I just feel like that's always been a good way to go, as long as it's something that sells well. Okay, could you possibly write in English so we can understand you? Yeah, that'd be cool. Sprint run. Hey Daniel, you got a problem with your biodigital patterns here? Yeah, okay, I just saw that right before I started the live stream. I'm gonna go take a look at it. I'm not sure why that would be the case. How about I do it right now? I just barely added that, so it doesn't surprise me that maybe there was some kind of typo or something. I linked it with a bit.ly, with a short link, so that I could track it. So let me just pull it up really quick. We'll get that dialed in. I don't want anybody to... Okay, hold on. Yeah. Biodigital patterns, click. Wix. Does anyone else get a lot of Wix advertisements? Okay, yeah. There's a problem with that link. I must have changed the original. Okay, let me go back to bit.ly. We're going to get this figured out right now, right here on the live stream. What comments am I missing here? I've not yet taken the leap into selling goods, but is getting dyes made worth the time and money for beginning step? Ooh, that's a tough question. That's tough. It depends on like what step you're in, If it's a product that you're very confident will sell well and it's something that you'd really like to make lots of and push, then yeah, definitely get some dyes made. I would agree with that. But if it's just something like maybe you just want to test the waters, make a couple different styles, test it out, figure out which product is going to sell the most, which one people really love, and then you can decide what dyes to make. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest getting a dye until you've kind of tested the waters and figure out what sells. Piggybacking off of Eric, where do you get your dyes from? I hate that question because I get them from the same company that Waterbury suggested we get them from. There are so many places and you really can't go wrong. It's like just pick one, really. That's what it comes down to. We get ours from National Dye Inc. and they're great. I love to suggest them. The only problem is they don't have a website or anything. I just have an email. So it's really hard for me to be like, oh, just go here and figure it out. No, I usually like link their email in my description and say email this person and get your dyes, but most people don't like that. They're like, well, it's only an email? I want to see a website. I want to see prices and all that kind of stuff. Just telling you right now, they don't have it. I just decided this is what Waterbury uses, and it's makes more sense for me to kind of be in sync with what Waterbury does, so that we're just, you know, we're kind of on the same page with everything, and it just makes sense. But there's a lot of good places to get dyes, honestly. Texas Custom Dyes is a good one. If you're going to get dyes for a Mighty Wonder, like my press right over here, right there, I would recommend that you get, what is it, 1 1/4 inches, I think is what they recommend. The height of your dye. Make sure you get, just got the email slow server. Oh, sorry, Gary. That's too bad. Yeah, I figure that's the case for a lot of people. But yeah, all my dyes are only 3/4 of an inch. They're way too short for that clicker press, so I have to put that block of wood in there to make up for it. So wherever you get your dyes, just make sure you get them at like 1 inch or 1 1/4 inches. I think 1 1/4 inches is the best way to go for that Mighty Wonder. And other than that, like, yeah, just look around. I mean, there's a lot of good places to get them from. A lot of dye makers out there. Gosh, I don't know if I've like talked very much today, because I just like all of a sudden went into talking mode and my jaw's like locking up. All right, templates, wallet patterns. What's the problem here? Yeah, that does not work. Oh, you know what? Let me think here. Is it because that collection for the templates is kind of hidden? The only way to find it on our website is to search templates. And I did that on purpose, because our website's our website. Like, that's where we sell our products. We don't, you know, that's not like a DIY hub. Here's how we teach you. Here's where we teach you how to make our products. You know, that's not really what the website's for. That's what YouTube's for. However, we've been thinking about ways to kind of combine that. So I don't know. We might change that up, but I'm going to try this again. Yep. Create a new link. Paste the long one. Okay. I don't know. Let's see if this works. Copy. Paste. This is really annoying. I want to like keep you further away, so you can actually see what I'm working on, but then I can't read the comments because it keeps disappearing. Does anyone know how to change that? I don't want my comments to disappear. It's dumb. All right, hello from South Dakota. Just getting into leather work. Your channel's great for beginning. Thanks, Scott. Best way to store leather. Is humidity bad? How do you keep bugs away? I've had that humidity question before. I've never had that issue. I guess we're not in a very humid area, so it's hasn't been something I've ever really thought of. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to do this later. I think what I need to do is publish my collection where all the templates are sitting in, because it thinks it's a hidden. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do that later. I'll fix that. I'll go back and change the links in the past videos, and we'll get that ready for you. For now though, if you just want to go buy some templates, just go to our website and hit the little magnifying glass, the search bar, and just type templates, and it'll pull up everything we have on there. Go to Shopify, add category to the drop down, show templates. Well, I don't want to, I haven't wanted to put the templates on our homepage, just like on our website, because, well, it's for a lot of reasons. It's just, things are definitely transitioning now, so I may consider that, but up until now, the website's been very separate from the DIY stuff. It's meant to be kind of two different things. But like I said, things change. Maybe we'll turn our website into more of a DIY kind of hub. We'll have our videos, you know, linked there in the templates and resources, links, tools. I mean, maybe we could do that. I kind of planned on like one day maybe creating a separate website just for that stuff, but I don't know. It's become such a big part of our life lately that I'd be fine with it. It's just at first I was like, oh, these are two different things, and it's really kind of been forming into one. Not a DIY, a revenue source. Super inspired by your positivity and tenacity. Thanks for sharing your work. Thank you, Natalie. That's awesome. Ever thought about exotic leather? I'm just not big on the exotic leather. I mean, I think it's really cool when other people work with it. I'm such a big fan of like the American tan cow hides, vegetable tan stuff, harness, skirting, latigo. I don't know, that stuff just gets my goat. No, that's the wrong phrase. That's when something irritates you, right? No, that stuff just gets me. The American tan, like veg tan stuff, I just love that so much. The exotic stuff is cool. I don't know exactly what are you talking about, like stingray and using like alligator and stuff like that? Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. I'd love to see other people out there using it. See what you can do with it. The most exotic leather I use is like Italian stuff and Japanese. I don't think that's considered exotic, but compared to what I'm used to working with, which is like straight just American steer hides from Wicked and Craig, Herman Oak. All right. I've been pretty happy with the changeover from using Barge's contact cement to this water-based stuff. Have any of you tried that? I used to have this table just completely full, just lined up of stuff that I was gluing. I'd just go down the rows when I'm doing like 100 wallets at a time, and that stuff would get to you. It would I'd start getting lightheaded and seeing things like, you know, Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze playing in the background, and I mean, it'll get to you. It's pretty toxic stuff. And Odin Clack and Bill, everyone's like, dude, you got to stop using that stuff. And I never wanted to, but ever since I started using this water-based stuff, I love it. It's awesome. It really is great. I just wish I would have like given it some more time, because I still have like 2 gallons over there of Barge. I don't know what to call it. What do you think of Lutton tan hides? I don't know. Don't know anything about them. It's a cheap high. That's right. Deglazer is a strong smell. Yeah. Should wear a respirator if you use that stuff. Yeah, I just don't use it anymore. I should, definitely. I'm not sure what kind of damage has been done up until this point, because there were times where I was in that small room in our old shop, just gluing away for hours and hours and hours, like especially during the Kickstarter fulfillment. And every time I'd be like, yeah, I should probably do something about this. But you just get lost in the work and never did. Who knows what kind of damage was done. What's the exact name of the glue? I've been trying a few different stuff. I use, it's in this bottle so you can't see it, but I've been using Sewa, like the white water-based glue. I think they call it contact glue. But that stuff's from Rocky Mountain Leather. But Tandy has some too that's just like a white colored water-based glue. I think that might be what's in here. And yeah, it's pretty good stuff. You just gotta put it on both sides, let it get tacky, and then put it together, just like with contact cement. But I like the smell of it. Yeah, Gary, you're like tapping into some vintage stock and barrel videos there. How long does the Wicked and Craig take to send out leather? It's usually about 2 weeks for us. Leather weld's pretty good. Yep. What's the exact name of the glue? Okay, got that. Was your Kickstarter worth it? Definitely, yeah. EcoWeld, yeah, that's the stuff from Tandy that I'm using. Yep, thanks for reminding me. That is the name of it. Yeah, Kickstarter was definitely worth it. I would have done things very differently though if I were to do it again. We were extremely prepared. We had we had built up a big email list for it, been kind of hyping it for a while. We were doing a line of wallets, and we just came out with the wrong price point. That's back when I was hand stitching stuff. I've told the story so many times, you guys. I'm always so hesitant to like just kind of rattle off some stories, because I feel like I just say the same stuff over and over. But we came out at the wrong price point, so I sent out a survey. I was like, hey, do you like hand stitched for $120, or would you rather have a machine stitched wallet for $50? And it was unanimous. Everyone wanted that, so I bought a sewing machine. Everyone wanted that $50 option, so I learned how to sew. Fulfilled something like 500 wallets. Was it 500? Can't remember. Do the math on that. Let's see, it was about, we did about 46,000 between Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Divide that by, I don't know, 58. Oh yeah, that's right. It was a little more. It was more like 790 something wallets. So somewhere around there. But yeah, there's a lot of wallets. But once we dropped down to that lower price point, thanks to the possibility of machine stitching, we started selling a whole lot more. So that's kind of driven where we're at now, why I make things the way we do. So I'm gonna come over here and sew these up right now. I'm not sure if this is gonna stay. It's gonna stay. All right, that's the best view you're gonna get. If I move my tripod, I'm using a huge tripod. So if I move it, then it's gonna fall off the table. What? We out? We're out. My bobbin's out. All right. I guess while that's winding up, I'm going to read some of these comments. Do you think the comp that sells the clicker press would ship it to Cape Town, South Africa? And have you used ostrich leather from Africa? I have no idea. You should reach out to Weaver Leather. I would imagine they'll ship anywhere, but it'll probably cost you a pretty penny. And no, I've never tried ostrich leather. Where's the best place to get fried chicken? That's a great question, Kurt. I was just having this conversation with my brother-in-law just earlier this morning. He likes Popeyes. And I don't think I've ever had Popeyes. If I did, it was a long time ago, I don't remember, but I love Chick-fil-A, love me some KFC. What are your thoughts on fried chicken? Did you get embarrassed? No, I just have a red face all the time, Paul. You should know that. You've been with me long enough here. What do you think of combining rigid materials like carbon fiber with leather? It could be cool. That's a great way to, stand out. Do it. Gosh, my face is really red right now. It just, like sometimes when I talk a lot, I heat up. Please do something with hair on hides. Yeah, I remember you telling me that earlier. I can get experimental as soon as we kind of get past this, like, I'm just trying to get caught up with our inventory right now so that we have something to sell over Black Friday. We're just falling short. We've been selling a lot this last month, but I would love to work with some hair on hides. We'll do that soon. I love your YouTube and Instagram, but could you please do more leatherwork videos? I love watching you make beautiful products. Well, I certainly will, and that's the game plan, but the beautiful thing about YouTube is I get to make whatever videos I want. And the interesting thing is, like, when I decided to do, sorry, I keep moving you around. When I decided to do daily, I knew that was gonna be the caveat. Because, believe it or not, I'm not just sitting down and working with leather every single second of my day. It just doesn't happen, especially when you're running a business, you wear a lot of hats. So a huge portion of my day is doing emails. Sometimes it's just really boring stuff. Whit and I are just sitting down shipping. There's just so much that comes into it. So I've committed to doing videos every day, so I'm gonna do it. But that means that a lot of the videos that come out aren't always gonna be me just sitting down working with leather. And honestly, they're actually more of them than not are working with leather, but they're not the kind of leather videos you want to see. It's more like the same thing every time. And how many videos can you watch of me just gluing down pockets and winding a bobbin on my sewing machine? So what I'd like to be doing is like trying out new, experimental stuff just for fun. learning new techniques and documenting all of that, doing build-alongs from start to finish. That's the kind of stuff I would love to do, so we will definitely do that. And we're just in a weird little funk right now, but with the partnership that we potentially will be making here in the near future, I'm so excited about it. But if that all comes together, then my entire daily, I don't know, my to-do list is gonna get very, very different. And that's the kind of, I'm hoping that the content we'll be able to make will be much more valuable and fun for you guys. So I'm excited about it. Don't get me wrong, I love your family vlog, but I'm new to leatherwork, so any videos that can appreciate it, so I'm a bit selfish and want to, yeah, I totally get that. No, don't, I totally get it. I know you guys aren't like interested in all my little family shenanigans, but it's just, that's what comes with doing a daily vlog. You know, like Quarter Leather, I love his videos. His are just amazing. And I think he does one once a week. So it makes sense that all of his videos would be exactly leather related and very specific for each project, you know. But for me, because I decided to do daily, I don't have the freedom of like making a video about whatever I want. It's kind of just like whatever we happen to be doing that day is what the video is going to be about. So it is what it is. I appreciate your patience. But the bonus is that you get more content. You know, you get to see not just how to do leather work, but how the business is run in all aspects. You know, all the shipping, you know, coming up with packaging and setting up for farmers markets or vendor markets and just all that kind of stuff that comes with it. It's really fun. I love Quarter too, but I wish he did like 2+ hour-long videos. I just love leatherwork so much. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's a real conundrum because I'm sure some of you would like long videos, like the 2+ hours. But as far as like YouTube statistics go, it's pretty well known that the shorter videos do better. I think the prime length of a video is like 2 minutes and 34 seconds or something. They've done studies about this. So I really like to keep mine anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. But I know some of you are like that. You'd rather just like have a camera on and just watch 6 hours of someone just hand stitching something, you know. It's like, it's just, unfortunately that would be a gruesome upload process. I personally like the shorter videos. I just think I like to cut out all the excess stuff that doesn't really need to be there. I like to keep them kind of fast-paced and moving quick while still being informative. But like I said, some of these future videos that are, hopefully they'll be a little bit more like project-based and more educative as opposed to like what it's been, which is just more of like documenting our day. So, like right now, if I could make a video about just like making a holster or something, like something I've never tried, making some like quick draw rig, I would love to just prop a camera up, sit down and try making something new. But instead, I've got hundreds of videos, or of wallets in the queue that I need to make, and I gotta do what I gotta do. Should I put a guide down here? I think I probably should. I'm gonna do that. Hold on. I don't feel like I need the guide for, you know, like the. Sorry, moving you around. I gotta drop it down into this little slot so I can go lower. There we go. Yeah, I don't really feel like I need the guide to like make sure I get it straight, but it is nice to create a groove so that the stitch kind of sits down low. So I'm just gonna put one in right there. It's funny because I change my mind all the time as far as like what tool to use for this. This is the one I got from Tandy, like when I very first started. So it's interesting. This is probably one of my favorites, but I've also bought a compass and a few other things. And then this is, I've talked about this before, but this is a right-handed tool. No matter how I switch this thing out, whatever, it doesn't work properly unless I use my right hand because it has a little groover in here that actually cuts the leather and not just pushes up against it like it would on this side. So it's so funny, like you'd think I'd have this down to a science, but I kind of try different things every time. Sometimes I'll just use my right hand like I'm doing right now. But then other times I'll just use my left hand and I'll just push hard enough to get a groove as opposed to cutting into the leather. So this puts it in at about 1/8 of an inch, which is my preferred distance from the edge. Mostly because that's exactly the distance from the edge of my walking foot here to the needle. So I can use the edge of my walking foot as a guide instead of needing an actual edge guide, or yeah, an edge guide on my machine. All right, that'll give us a little bit of a groove to dip into. How many of you guys are using machines and how many of you are hand stitching? Both a very cool process. I just love to hear about all the different, the different reasons why people do what they do. I want to do a video about that, but I've been kind of waiting to. It's one that I might need a little bit of preparation for, and so I haven't done it yet. But I would love to talk about hand stitching versus machine stitching, because there's a lot of heavy opinions out there about it. Some people are extremely passionate about, hand stitch only. You wouldn't even think about touching a machine. And others love, some people love to do both. They'll like mix it up. I've seen Ryan from Little King Goods. I've seen him use a machine for a lot of the strap work and details on a bag, but then around the main body of the bag, he'll still hand stitch it. So that's a pretty cool, it's cool to see people mix it up like that. I've just become a really big fan of this, well, not this machine specifically, but just sewing machines in general. It makes it really fun for me. I'm not sure what it is that I love about it so much, but it just does it for me. I don't know. I can't really see too well, but there's the stitch right there. I'm gonna have to go back and read these comments because I can't really see the screen, but we'll talk about this. I'm gonna read your comments. We'll get to it. You guys some of you are probably laughing that I'm doing black again because I thought I was out of the forest with black, and it's a long story, but I needed to rush through 2 more black billfold wallets. And so I just decided to do this before I really dive into those Buck Brown batches. So I swear this is my last black video on black wallets for a while. This machine specifically has always had a really weird squeak to it. And it's funny because I think a lot of people might assume that it's not oiled enough or something. It's definitely not. I keep it well oiled, but I think what it is my reducer. When I installed my reducer, it's putting the belts at like just enough of a weird little tweak that it causes them to squeak as they go around the wheel. So it's nothing serious. It's really annoying, actually. It drives me nuts. And sometimes the squeak just completely goes away. It blows my mind. I'll find myself just working away and I'm like, wait a minute, the squeak's not there. And then it always comes back. Ew. All right, put you back here. All right, I'm gonna go back to some of those comments, actually. Missed some of those. Wow, a bunch of them. Holy smokes. Okay, we're getting tons of questions. Okay, Kurt said quarter's nice, but he doesn't explain anything. Happy to hear the how and why. Yeah, I agree. I love his videos. I want to be completely honest. I think, I wish I knew his name. Yeah, Quarter Leather. I love the artistic approach he has to his videos. He doesn't use any music. It's just a lot of raw sounds. You can hear the cutting of the leather, the pounding of a mallet. It's really cool to hear the sounds and the details. But I could agree with you. I think I don't like hearing my voice. I get sick of hearing myself talk. So I've often really admired the way he does videos, but it's nice to hear you say that. I think that there are a lot of times there's some value in being able to hear someone explain something. So, good both ways. I lost my spot. Oh boy. Oh man, I am way out. Where did we end up? What size thread do you prefer for men's wallets? Inside and outside. I find 2 different sizes, 69 or 92 inside and 138 out. Yeah, Kathy, that's a great. I love 138. I just use 92 these days and sometimes 69, but mostly just 92 all over the wallet. When I was using my Cowboy 3200 though, I did use 138. I hand stitched for 4 years, then moved to a machine for 3 years now, back to hand stitching. Cool. Came here for the topic, stayed for the discussion, and the sewing machine action. That's awesome. Glad you're here, Luke. I'm looking to get a Consew 206 RB5. I think that's the name. Yeah, that's a great machine. What do you think of that? That's in my budget. Yeah, I love the 206 RB1, 2, and 5. Those are really good machines. In fact, you can get some of those RB1s and RB2s for like $400. My only complaint with them is that they don't come with a speed reducer, and some of them just have a clutch motor. So if you're gonna get a Consew RB, make sure you swap it out for a servo motor and install a reducer if you're gonna be making wallets and stuff like this, like the kind of stuff I'm making. If you're just, depends on your work. Some people might not need a reducer, but for the kind of work we do, you have to have one. There's just no way around it. But yeah, that's a great machine. You might want to look into Cobra's class 18 and class 20. It's kind of the same class of machine, but they come, and actually the class 18 and class 20 are both heavier duty machines than the Consew RB. They're definitely designed for heavier materials, but the real benefit of them is that they come installed with a speed reducer. I've talked about this so many times. You guys are just probably so sick of hearing me say the same stuff over and over. But it's also like around $1,400 to $1,600 brand new. That's for a brand new machine. This one costs about $3,000 brand new. So if I were to go out and buy a new machine, it would definitely be a Cobra or a Cowboy. I just forget what the Cowboy model number is. I think it's like CB. Oh, what is it? I always want to say 227, but that's a cylinder arm. So I got to brush up on my Cowboys knowledge. I hand stitched the leather to carbon fiber, but then I machine stitch with 69 thread. Cool. That would do it. I was gonna get the 206, went with the Texo 2700 for the arm. Agreed on the speed reducer, definitely needed. Please save this to your channel. I definitely will. I save all my live streams to the channel so you can come back and watch it later if any of you have to go. CB 4500 is a great machine, Paul. That's just a little bit of a bigger body than the 3200 that I had. It's got a longer arm so you can fit bigger stuff in, but I love Cowboy machines. They're just awesome. I've had a few of them. Yes, please save to the channel. I have to go back to work. That's awesome. Yeah, go get some work done, James. All right, I gotta start working as well, you guys. You guys distract me. I just saw a video that Cody Warner, he's probably not in your world. This is like more in I watch a lot of daily vloggers and people who are like really into videography. It's kind of a different side of what I do, but I watch a lot of that on YouTube. But he just posted a video about the title. I haven't watched the video, but the title said, "Stop watching and start doing." And I think that's something we need to open up for discussion here in the near future, because it's always so tempting to like just spend hours and hours on YouTube getting motivated and seeing what other people are doing. But at some point, you got to stop watching, stop consuming information, and just start doing things. Because as soon as you put your, I wanted to say pen to paper, but then I tried to go with like a leather analogy. Once you put the scratch all to the hide, no, I don't know. As soon as you start working, just start doing it, you're going to figure out your own ways of doing things. And it might be different from all these people that you're watching on YouTube. But it's going to be your way. It's going to be unique. So definitely get some inspiration. Like spend time here. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff when I'm like in the shower or driving. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I don't like watch it when I drive. I always just have my headphones in and I like listen to podcasts and watch YouTube stuff. But I love to just listen to that stuff and just soak it up as much as I can when I'm not able to be working. That's how I should put it. I mean, if I'm like, completely just held prisoner to a long road trip or something, like you can't be doing anything else then anyway. You're just sitting there driving. So you might as well be consuming at that point. Watch stuff, listen stuff. Don't watch while you're driving. That's not safe. But at some point, there has to be a time where you stop consuming, soak up some of that inspiration and motivation, and then just get out there and start doing it. Have any of you felt like that? Have you guys like got lost in content and then you're just like, man, I just watched like 4 hours of YouTube and haven't gotten anything done? It's not a great feeling. Okay, so we've got these panels stitched now. These are the insides of the billfolds. But before I do anything, there's an edge right here that I need to treat, or in other words, burnish and then paint, because that you're not going to be able to get to that after you stitch the main body panel to it right there. So yeah, we got to get that edge taken care of. Those are the kind of things that are hard to remember. It's you just want to. I think depends on the project, but there are some products where you're just like each step is kind of one by one. You cut, then you stitch, and then you burnish, and it's just that 3-step. But some of the more complex wallets aren't like that. You've got to do a lot of burnishing and edge treatment in between each stitching step and things like that. So this is one of them. I'm going to take some 300 grit sandpaper and then some 150 and then slick it down with some water, and then I'll paint it up. So I'm going to get my stuff. Hold on now. Maybe I'll get to some comments real quick. That's exactly my life this past week, says Jordan from Pine Top Brand. I get it, man. I've been there. I usually sew along with the YouTube viewing. They inspire me to press on. See, that's cool. If you can get away with working while you're watching, that's a great way to do it. I hook up with YouTube. I hook up YouTube to a speaker and can listen while I'm cutting or sewing. Awesome. Only hand stitch. This is the first time I'm actually able to catch a live stream. Love the videos. I'm getting started in leatherwork myself. Cool, Andrew. Welcome to the craft. And good luck. Let us know. Let me know if you have any questions, because I'm always open. I'm an open book. Happy to help. Admire, again, your depth of knowledge. Brave man fielding questions live. Love it. Really agree. Stop watching and get to making. Yeah. So true, Keith. And thank you for those kind words. Okay, I'm going to go grab my edge burnishing stuff. Wait a minute, where is it? It's not where it usually is. Oh, here it is. I used to use this canvas bag that I just had laying around the shop. I used it to for part of my burnishing process, but ever since I found these on District Leather Supply, I haven't gone back. He sells them just in little pre-cut things. But yeah, they're nice. They're a better size. I could have cut this one up. And I probably still will eventually, but now I use it to like hold all my stuff. So I got my 150 grit sandpaper, some 300, or what is this, 320, and canvas burnishing cloths. I always keep one of these close by just so I can dump a little bit of water into it, and a little pad. This is my drinking water. Isn't that funny? Sometimes I think of stuff that like, I don't know, maybe customers don't really want to think about, but it's like, it's hilarious to me to think about the fact that, let me move you back up here, hold on. It's hilarious to me to think about the fact that like your product is sometimes made with such personal touches. You know, like the fact that I used my own drinking water that I'm sitting here drinking to slick up the edge. It's just funny. I don't know why that's weird to me, but it's a lot of things happen like that during the day, and I'm like, I wonder if they like, for instance, this doesn't happen anymore, so don't keep it from buying. Don't let this keep you from buying. But Indy, when she was young at our old shop, she used to just sit there. We'd catch her. We'd turn around. We used to keep all the products on the bottom shelf of our workbench, and like the finished products, and we'd catch her down there just sucking on the leather. So there were so many of our products that we'd send out. It wasn't noticeable at all. It didn't like affect the wallet, but I'm like, it's funny to think that I'm sending this out after it had been basically gnawed on by my 18-month-old daughter. I wouldn't have sent it out if there were like teeth marks or anything like that, obviously. But it's just those little touches, you know, it's like something you don't get when you buy from some big giant factory. Where'd my slicker go, people? Here it is. I wonder if I should attempt to run the live stream on my laptop so I can read your comments. I think I'm gonna do that. Like we've finally been having pretty good connection here. Oh, see, I'm distracted. I always do this. I forgot to sand it. I just went right to slicking it up. I only have veg tan around, so when my baby grabs some, it's obvious. Oh man, yeah, it's... yeah, we had to like start keeping stuff up higher, and Wesley now, I mean, he's the same way. Like we'll just find him packing around just armfuls of wallets, just walking around the shop, and I'm like, no, those are good ones. Recently we started, are we back? Sorry guys, it's because I got a phone call. That time it wasn't because of Wi-Fi connection. Whit was just FaceTiming me, which is funny because I told her right before this I was coming out here to do a live stream, but she probably thinks I was done by now. Okay, so the reason I sand these edges is because you're putting essentially, well, 2 layers of leather together, and if it's not perfectly lined up, if you got a little bit of this going on or a little bit of that, and you got gaps, well, I guess sanding wouldn't help if the leather was like that, but it's usually not like that. It's usually like uneven somehow like that. So the sanding just brings it all perfectly level so that as you slick, you just get a perfectly clean edge. And that really helps with the edge painting after. Because if there's any kind of like gaps in the leather or bumps, then the paint, the paint just goes right over it and you can see it. So the flatter and smoother edge you've got to paint on, the better. So I start out with 150. This is actually something I could do on my MP burnisher. I've got 2 different sleeves that go on that sanding wheel right there. And I've got a 150 and I've got a 300 on there, so I can actually do this really fast, just really quick, but just for the sake of the video I'm gonna do it right here. And I just barely went the opposite direction, but in general you usually want to sand in the same direction every time. That's not the case when you're burnishing, when you're slicking, but for sanding, you usually want to go the same direction. Okay, that's my 150. Here's the 300, 300. Okay. Now I'm gonna use the canvas cloth. One thing I use the canvas for, other than just like the final sand, is to round the corners. I don't always feel like it's necessary to use an edge beveler, especially on the thinner leather. I can usually just take this and I kind of, pinch in the corners as I'm burnishing over, and it just rounds them off really nicely. I've noticed, like, ever since we've started using our dies as opposed to the laser cut, I really don't need to edge bevel because the dies kind of push the leather down as they're stamping. So it, in a way it kind of saves you a step there. I'm working on doing coasters and having a hard time finding 4-inch round clicker die. Yeah, you might just have to order a custom one. I don't know that I know of any. Like if you buy, I don't know of anybody that sells like pre-made clicker dies other than Weaver, but it's all tack stuff. It's like, it's just like cinches and things like that. All right, that's pretty smooth. I'm just gonna, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna slick it down with the water. I never burn my thread. Oh no, I'm losing my battery. Did it just show as buffering? This skirting leather is really resilient. You don't have to stress too much about like the lighter burning it or anything. It's just really, really tough. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give you, if you just want a round cut, you can check AliExpress. Oh yeah, they might have some stuff. AliExpress always surprises me. All right, let's see if I can get this to focus. Too close maybe. Anyway, it's pretty glassy smooth, very even. Didn't really look like it in there. It's not the best representation of it, but yeah, I mean, that's just about a perfect edge. So now that's ready for paint, and the paint will take it on really nicely. So this kind of work, this is when it's good to consume content, because when you're doing batches like this exact step right here, like, sanding and burnishing is so monotonous, especially after doing it for 50 to 100 wallets. I mean, I could spend an entire day just doing this right here. So that's always a really great time to consume content, I think. Unfortunately for me, because I've committed to the daily, oh no. Oh shoot. Right when I said that, I remembered that I had set my camera up before the live stream and started recording. It's probably an hour-long clip. Yeah, it would have been over an hour now. I'll have to go delete that clip because that's gonna probably just kill the battery. Anyway, what was I saying? That's a good time to consume content because it's just very monotonous. Oh yeah, but I've committed to doing daily vlogs. So instead of consuming content, most of what I end up having to do is make content. I'm filming stuff, and I can't exactly have Netflix going or YouTube going when I'm filming. So man, come on, YouTube Mobile. I'm not seeing any of your comments. You using a Sony or a GoPro right now? This is what I use to vlog with. This is my vlogging setup. It's a Sony 6500 with a Rode Video Micro, and my lens is a 10 to 18 f4 Sony lens. It's good stuff. I really like that 10 to 18 lens is so wide. So like, just to give you, like when I'm vlogging like this, I'm getting like all this space around me, and it's not, I have some lenses. I tried vlogging with a 24 once, and it's mostly like this, and it's just right up in your grill. Not good when you got a mug like this. But yeah, this is what I'm using, Sony a6500. This is fairly new to me. I did have a 6300. I've had a 6000. I have a Sony a7 III over there that I use for like some of our more serious shooting. But as soon as the a6700 or a7000 comes out, I haven't even checked. It's supposed to be launched today. I gotta look that up. Anyway, basically the new version of that camera is supposed to come out with a flip screen. Oh man, I can't wait for that. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to be filming and not be able to see what you're filming. Okay, Kim, I see ya. Were you scared of filming when you uploaded your first vlog? Were you scared of filming? No. Yeah, a little bit. Just I remember. So I've been vlogging since, man, I don't know, since like 2010 or 11. Like, not seriously, but I would try it out a lot. I would go in phases where I'd start daily vlogging on a different channel, and it was horrible stuff, like horrible filming, horrible content. But it definitely kind of broke me into the idea of putting yourself on camera and documenting. I've always just been such a big fan of documenting life, documenting like anything that's going on. I just love the idea of it. So, Gary, I have a field monitor. It's just so much work to set up. Like when I say, like when I'm vlogging, I'm pulling my camera out hundreds of times a day. I keep it in the car, I keep it in the house. I'm all over the shop with it. And that field monitor adds a massive bulk to the whole setup. Hold on. So I do use this sometimes. Every now and then I'll use this, but basically this goes in that hot shoe mount right here, and then the microphone goes on the other side of this mount. And so it adds like 3 more pounds. It's huge. It's not very sturdy or solid. I get worried about the connections, like that HDMI input kind of getting buggered from being moved around so much. So it's just not worth it. It'd be so much better if there's just a little screen that flipped out like the Panasonics have and Canons. But I'm a diehard Sony fan, so I gotta stick with it. All right, what did I miss? Do you have to burn the ends of the thread? You don't have to, you definitely don't have to, but it helps. Especially if you do it right. Let me see if there's one here I haven't done yet. So what I like to do is when I burn it, I'm not sure if there's a good way to do this. I'll burn it, and then as soon as it's hot and kind of melty, I'll just run my finger down and it actually smashes the thread. There's a little bit of wax in the thread. It's bonded nylon, so as you melt it and smear your finger over it, it just kind of seals the end of that in so that there's no chance of it unraveling. It's just a really good way to end your stitch. You definitely don't have to though. I mean, I know a lot of makers that just don't really bother with it. I've seen some shoemakers where they'll like put the shoe on a lathe or something and they just spin the shoe around and they take a torch and just go and just torch the whole shoe, and it's for the purpose of burning those threads. It's not really a torch, it's more like a flame. I mean, you know what I mean. It's not as hot as a torch. It just kind of coats the shoe in a quick flame just to burn the ends of the thread. So it's pretty cool to see. All right. What did I miss? I got Paul's serious camera. Yeah, that's my A7 III. Hey, from Ireland. Have you had a chance to check out Nigel? Yeah, I did. I appreciate it. And I realized I had already subscribed to him. I haven't spent a lot of time on his videos, so I wasn't really familiar with it. But yeah, he's got great stuff. Really great. Man, I'm getting all... I'm losing my place here. I'm just going to start slicking this one down. Sheesh, man, YouTube's got to fix this. Or maybe there's a setting I can change. Someone look into that for me. I hate it. The comments disappear. Like right now, they're gone. So I have to be touching it every 2 seconds to get it to appear again. Yep. Today was my goal day to upload my first vlog and keep fighting myself with finishing it. It's a constant battle on will people like it? Will it even look good? I'm sure I'm my own worst critic. Oh, Jordan, that's so cool, man. I'm so pumped to hear that. I've been waiting for you guys to get on this. I know there have been quite a few people that have gotten on it. Mason Primo from Primo Leather Goods has started a vlog. Ryan from Little King. Like, I love seeing other makers posting vlogs of their work and their process. And don't worry about if it's good, man. It's your first one. Who cares? I still feel like mine have so much work and so much I need to be changing, and I kind of want to change just the overall, like what I'm showing. I want to be able to show more of the process and you know, more of like a documentary film would feel. I want it to be very personal and very intimate, as opposed to like the typical YouTube narrative, which is like, hey guys, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like. You know, like I don't know why, but I hate that. I just hate that vernacular. I don't like listening to it. I would love it if I could get away with just like more of a documentary type feel where it's just very personal and intimate. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I mean, the only way you can figure out how you're gonna do it and how to get better is to start doing it. So just post that first one, man. If it's not good, first of all, I'm sure it is good. I guarantee you it's better than what you're thinking of in your mind. You're right. You are your own worst critic. I still think every video I do, I'm like, that was terrible. I got to do better on my next one. So, but if I had waited to get perfect, I still wouldn't be posting videos yet. And so much has happened from the time I started doing daily to now. So many opportunities have opened up. It's just amazing. Like, just do it, man. Just start. Make it happen. Post it. Even if nobody sees it, be ready to post again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Just keep doing it. All right. That's awesome, Jordan. I'm so glad to hear you're doing it. Can't wait to see it. Make sure you send me a link or tag me or something. I really want to see it. Make sure you tag Maker Vloggery. That's what I want. I really want to start interacting with that more. Maybe we need to create a Facebook group. I think that would be really cool. We'll create a Facebook group for everyone that's vlogging and that are makers. All right. Did you get all them wallets finished over the last weekend? Maker's Mark, getting prices from Infinity Stamp. What are your thoughts? How can I send you photos and videos of my products? Okay, sorry, Paul. To go back, not all of them. I've just been plugging away at lots of different stuff. I've had other things that came in that I kind of had to put in front, and other projects I had to do over the weekend. But yeah, I'm plugging away. We're getting a lot of stuff going. You're lucky. Okay. How can I send you photos, videos? You can send me photos and videos just by tagging me. Like if you post them to Instagram or something, just tag me in it. Send it to me in a DM. Or you can send it to my email, but my email's so backed up, and I tend to not like to use my email for that kind of stuff. I like to keep the social stuff separate from customer service. Most of my emails in the customer service box are like people asking about sewing machines and stuff, and I tend to just kind of let it go because I always jump to the ones that are like high priority, like, hey, my package never showed up, and I just need to deal with it right then and there. But with social media, like with Instagram and everything, I try and really keep up on the ones where people are like, hey, check out my work, that kind of stuff. So thanks for the encouragement, my friend, really helps. Dude, I can't wait to see it. So excited to see that. Hashtag Maker Vloggery. Portrait keeps the chat bottom half in my phone. Landscape hides it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. That would definitely get rid of my chat issue, but I love having landscape videos. I want it to post to YouTube after I'm done here. I want it to upload it in landscape. So when was it that you knew leather making is the path you're taking? Oh man. I don't know. I don't know if there was like ever a specific moment, but I'm trying to think about that. It had to have been sometime in 2012, but I started selling it and I still, I think it took quite a while before I realized like, oh, this is my calling. This is what I'm sticking to this, because at the very beginning it was like, this is fun. I'm going to try this out, but I'm not sure how sustainable it is. I think for a while I just figured it might just be a hobby for a long time. And it just picked up really fast. Well, I don't want to say really fast because I don't want it to be discouraging to anybody. It's not like it just blew up and my decision was easy. Like, oh, this is what we're going to do. It picked up faster than I thought in the sense that, social media there was a lot of engagement on social media. We were starting to get orders here and there, like at a manageable rate where I was able to like keep up with orders. It just felt really good. So it's not like it just blew up and we were making millions with leather. It happened very slowly, but it felt right. We had really good engagement, awesome customers right off the bat. And so I knew that if I kept it up, it really could turn into something for me. I wish I remembered an exact moment, but I don't. It's been a long, kind of just like a long, long journey. The last one. All right, those ones are done. What about the first item you ever made? First item I made was a phone sleeve for my Galaxy S. It's just so funny because like I think I wanted the sleeve just for the sake of carrying around something leather, but a phone sleeve is just so impractical. Like who wants to pull something out of their pocket, pull it out of a sleeve, and suddenly have two things that you have to deal with, you know, like putting it back in your pocket, slip it in. It just doesn't make sense. It's not a practical product, but I think I just wanted something that would be simple and easy to make and, you know, something that I could justify carrying around. I wasn't really ready to like start on a wallet. Not that, because wallets are much more doable. If you do it like with a tutorial and a kit and everything, it's very easy, but I was kind of like just flying by the seat of my pants, just figuring it out. And I remember like, this is the reason I wanted to do these videos. I remember how lost I was. Like, I didn't know if you punch the holes first before you stitch. I remember asking some people at Tandy that. I'm like, so do I need to like get a stitching on, like punch the hole first? And so I didn't have like pricking irons. All I had was a stitching awl. It was probably this very one. I've had this thing forever, like since day one. But I just like poked the hole. I have a few of these, so maybe this isn't the exact one, but something like, anyway, I would just poke the hole. It wasn't even a straight line. It was just like, I just was like poking my holes and then I stitched it after. Oh man, it was just so horrible. It looked horrible. But we all have to be there, right? I'm sure some of you are like light years ahead of me. Maybe some of you are like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. Maybe your first one's just amazing and great. That's awesome for you. I hope that's the case for most of you, but that was not the case for me. I went through some pretty grueling, horrible projects before I got to anything I was like really satisfied with. I will say though, the first bag I ever made, I was pretty happy with. I wish I had it here. I know it's somewhere. It might be up on that loft, so I don't want to climb up there, but it was like a bucket bag, like something that my dad had from his childhood, and it was sitting in our basement. I'm like, I think I could recreate this. I think I could sell it. And so I figured out how to make it. I just like copied the pattern kind of, and I changed quite a few things on it, but I kind of took the basic pattern and did some things, and like the actual design of the bag was great. It just fell short on a couple things. Like my rivets didn't go in very straight. They were all like crooked and will probably break if I were to like pull on it. But I didn't actually use it. I was just like pumped that I made a bag. And so, yeah, I still have that bag and it turned out great. Maybe I'll bust it out one of these times and we'll break it down. All right, I'm using Vernice Edge paint. This is just straight black 018 black Vernice from Rocky Mountain Leather. Pull this thing around, hold on. I use my little belt burnishing jig to set things on after I paint the edge. Just keeps it elevated. If you set it right down on the workbench, then the paint will sometimes like stick to the workbench. I like to keep it elevated away from anything till it dries. I need to bring you guys closer for one of these. Looks good. Yeah, I'm dripping paint. not good, not good. I hate having a messy workbench. This is way messier than I like. If I wasn't doing the live stream, I think I would have already cleaned it up by now, but I like to only have the things that I'm actually using in that moment right in front of me and put everything away. Because this is stressing me out. I got too much going on right now. Pretty clean. Can't really see very well. It's the downfall of doing these live streams. I'm hoping that with the better internet connection, this will actually upload in 1080, because everything else has been going, all my other live streams have been going up in 720. But I've been really kind of scheming a way to, with this, I can use a capture card and I'll start live streaming using my Sony, so we'll get that wide lens, we'll get good aperture, you know, a good shallow depth of field. Well, not if we're using the wide lens, but anyway, I want to like have good quality video going up in 1080 HD and more dynamic range. So I want to improve the live streams a little bit, because that's the disappointing thing, is I actually really like doing it. I love the dynamic interaction as we're doing the videos, but I don't love the camera quality right now. It's going up in 720. The windows are always blown out. The light, a lot of times, like my face will be blown out in the highlights. I don't like that. I'm really picky about that stuff now. So I'm gonna figure out a way. I'll buy a capture card or something and we'll start live streaming with my Sony. Maybe even do it with my Sony A3. Okay. I'm gonna let those dry. Anytime you're using one of these paint pens, the best way to do it is to wipe it off right after you use it while the paint's still wet. If you wait for it to dry, then you're just gonna be sitting there picking at it for hours trying to get it all off, get it out of the cracks and everything. So I like to just give it a little wipe down right after, and then make sure you wipe it down in that little stem area underneath this. That right there needs to be able to spin freely, or else it's not gonna roll properly and it just won't look good. It's gonna give you issues. So every single time I use it, I give it a little wipe down like that, or anytime I'm changing colors. And then it works great for me, ready to go. Okay, it's hard to line back up this, there we go. Make sure it spins freely. Looks good. All right, you guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we're gonna wrap this up. My wife's called me a few times. That's why it was pausing. But, the leather I'm using right now is black skirting from Wicked & Craig in 3 to 4 ounce. Okay, I'm gonna answer a few more questions, then I'm gonna take off. All right. I don't know how far back to go. I've missed a lot of questions. I did the same thing on my first time, so true. What type of leather are you using right now? Okay, just answered that one. I've been told my first wallet looks like it was found as remnants from World War II. That's awesome. My first piece was just like yours. If it wasn't the kind of people in Tandy answering my 5 million questions, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, so true. Where did you meet Whitney? Leatherworking? No, we actually met just locally. We went to the same school, but we actually didn't know each other in school. And our sisters were really good friends, but again, we didn't get to know each other because of that. We ended up meeting through a mutual friend. We were up shooting up in the mountains, just target shooting, and my friend invited her, and I met her through that, and it was just ever since then, we never stopped talking. All right. Rocky are the best. Rocky Mountain, I'm assuming. Yeah, they're the best. I love them. Love Aaron. How long do you use a new item before, if you do before selling? I worry that something I might find will fall apart on a customer. Yeah, I mean, most of your process is like repeated. So as long as you're confident in your stitching, you shouldn't, most of your products should work out well. Usually what I like to test is like on a bag. If like a closure, sits right, or as the leather softens, does it kind of act differently? Does the gusset close in more? Just things like that. So I don't know. Some things I really test very thoroughly. Some things I just kind of know because of previous products that I've done that I know that it will work well. So I don't know. I would say like good 6 months is like a pretty solid testing duration. My desk would give you a heart attack. Why you use edge paint as opposed to just burnishing the edges? I use edge paint because it's when you're doing big batches like this, it's a lot more consistent. Burnishing is just such a grueling process if you do it properly. In order to get the edges to look the same color, look really consistent, get that glassy finish. It's easy to do if you're just doing one wallet at a time. You can spend the time on each corner and each edge and just make it look great. That's fine. But when you're doing an entire batch of products, you can't go through the full process of burnishing an edge and do it in a manageable time frame. So I still burnish. Like I said, I do a really quick sand with 150, then with 300. Then I do a quick wet burnish with water and a wood slicker. And then I just kind of buff it down with the canvas cloth and slick it again, and it's good to go. It's really smooth. And then that paint just seals it up really nice, gives you a smooth surface. It's just really consistent. I think that's what I like about it. I know that every single time I do it, I can get that same exact finish, and it'll look very similar. But again, it's just kind of a preference thing. I also love the look. I just love the look of it, so that's a big part of it. All right, what else have I missed? Sorry, I'm just scrolling back. I've missed so much stuff. Okay, buffering. Yeah, every time my wife calls me, I'm getting buffering. I don't think she knows I'm doing a live stream. Nice work, Kim, you fixed it. Edge paint over burnishing is a design choice. They're durable. Yep, just a design choice. That's really what it comes down to. Oh man, that comes apart? Yeah, it does. It's helpful. It just helps you clean it better. So, comes apart. What type of leather are you using right now? Answered that. Thank you for sharing. More light laying down his business. What's a good weight for wallet leather? I always suggest 3 to 4 ounces. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck? Nobody knows that answer. No one. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's, that answer's too tough. Don't ask me stuff like, I can't answer that. Ronnie LeGray just asked a question, and I just answered it. Hi everyone, Kim, you're the best. Kim's just a celebrity. James Nichols just asked a question. Where was it? Did I answer it already? Oh yeah. That's the woodchuck one. Yeah, we're not gonna even go there. Too much controversy, Too much controversy. All right, thanks Kim, good looking out. Gotta go, Parker. Good night, everyone. See ya, Paul. It's probably really late where you're at. Will you wrap up the small batch versus made to order topic in a paragraph or 2? Yeah, sure. That's a great idea, Luke. And then I'm going to end this. So thank you guys all for being here. Okay, so this is 100% just outright personal decision depending on, hey,
Hi.
I got your calls.
I'm so sorry. I thought you did it earlier.
No, it's fine. It's been a long one. It's probably my longest live stream. You got a pumpkin, bud? Oh, you broke it. Oh, sad. He's worried about his pumpkin. That's all right, buddy. It's still a good pumpkin. Okay, I was just about to wrap this up. I just have one more paragraph, then I'm going to end this right here. So we were talking about the differences between small batch and made to order. I think that depending on where you're at, depending on how well a certain product is selling, is really going to make that decision for you. So I think something that's really worked well for us is I like to make a product, test the market a little bit with social media, see how people like it, get some feedback, put it on the website, and then just kind of see how it sells. We'll maybe get a few cells here and there, and I can personally just make it one by one as it goes. Or if it's one I'm just testing, I might make just a really small batch, like 5 to 10 products, and just see how it sells, and just kind of sit on it for a while. But for the products that we know sell really well, like the number 52 verticals, we can make those in batches. We can do those in 100 to 200 every batch, every month or so. And we know that we're just always going to be moving those. For some reason, Buck Brown, people just love Buck Brown, and we sell a lot. So I'm not going to sit here and say that one way is better than the other. It just kind of depends on how you do it. We did it for about 3 to 4 years. We just did made to order. I never even considered doing batch work. But I guess I wanted to bring that up just to potentially put it in your mind. It's a good way to save. It saves cost, it saves time. If you're capable of doing batches, I would suggest doing small batches, like even if it's just 5 to 10 products. Do a batch. It'll help you get better at making that product. You'll be more efficient, and then you can just really focus on selling through that batch. You can put all your social media efforts into that batch of product and just get it sold. It's a good way to do it, as opposed to just like throwing things on your website and then just kind of waiting around and just saying, well, let's see what sells. It's definitely something you want to play with, toy around with, test, figure out what works best for you. But when you're able to, I think that doing the batch model is a smarter decision if you're able to. So that's kind of where we're at with it right now. I'm doing a smaller batch right now. I got about 35 wallets on the table that I'm working on. Sometimes we're doing 100, 200. It just depends, but it's a great model for us. It's really helped us grow and kind of get to that next level. So thank you guys so much for being here. This has been a fun one. It's been really long, and we didn't have any Wi-Fi issues. So we'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye, guys. Tell everyone bye.
Can you say bye? Can you say bye? Bye-bye.